He broke the silence in a way no one else had the courage to, pulling back the curtain on what he claims is the unsettling truth behind Sean Diddy Combs' empire. With accusations that ripple far beyond mere gossip, Wayne has shaken the foundations of the music world, hinting at something far darker hidden beneath the sparkle and showbiz. According to him, Diddy's rise to fame wasn't fueled solely by talent, sharp instincts, or even good fortune. Instead, Wayne paints a picture of a kingdom built on control, secrecy, and manipulation. And perhaps most unnerving of all this isn't just celebrity drama or a spat between stars. Wayne insists that the controversies we've seen in the public eye are just the visible edge of something far more disturbing lurking beneath.
Because we now know who all the prosecutors will be on Diddy's trial. They're all women. They have assembled a team of female prosecutors, and that is definitely not by accident.
How many people came through his orbit? How many people could this have happened to? And how did he get away with it for so long?
Wayne has torn the veil off what he describes as Diddy's shadow empire, revealing more than just opulence and late-night indulgence. Behind the velvet ropes, he claims, was a carefully orchestrated environment, one not designed for celebration, but for control. According to his account, these weren't ordinary parties. They were psychological traps, complete with hidden surveillance and an atmosphere so suffocating it felt like luxury turned into lockdown. Speaking with a tremor in his voice, Wayne alleges he's played a direct role in freeing more than 100 individuals from this world rescues, he says, from a gilded prison masquerading as privilege. 100 lives pulled back from the edge. But if what he says is true, it leaves a haunting question lingering in the air. Who is Diddy, really? Is he a mogul who lost sight of morality, or someone who never cared who he crushed on his climb? The weight of these claims grows heavier, with a now resurfaced video clip. Lil Wayne, speaking years ago, delivering what now seems like a grave warning to young artists entering the industry. He didn't name names, but his cautionary words, once brushed off as cryptic or playful, now echo with unsettling clarity. In hindsight, they feel less like banter and more like a siren call. The glimmering path into fame, he seemed to warn, may not lead to glory, it might lead straight into darkness.
All the money he has and all the resources he has, they couldn't craft some solution that lets him be under some form of house arrest. And again, it sounds like special treatment, but the truth of the matter is, to incarcerate somebody like him is expensive to all of us. We're taxpayers, and he's got to have unique situations. You can't put him in general population where, everyone wants a piece of him and everyone wants to be his friend and everyone.
There's a difference between innocent until proven guilty, and the unsettling territory where whispers and rumors start to feel like undeniable patterns. One of the most bizarre and persistent claims surrounding Diddy's legacy sounds like something out of a thriller, yet insiders have been murmuring about it for years. Beneath the vast luxury of his Miami estate, some allege there exists a hidden web of underground passageways. These so-called freak-off tunnels weren't just for privacy or flair. According to whistleblowers, they were designed for secrecy, silence, and absolute control. Allegedly, these tunnels served as the stage for exclusive gatherings where discretion wasn't a preference, but a rule enforced by power. Few who entered have spoken since, and those who have describe more than just excess. They speak of manipulation and surveillance. The deeper these stories go, the more these tunnels sound less like a decadent quirk and more like a mechanism for keeping people in and keeping the truth out. Wayne, now taking center stage in this unfolding saga, doesn't just recount rumors, he claims action. According to him, he's teamed up with those on the outskirts of Diddy's empire, working covertly to dismantle what he describes as a sinister network. He even says he's helped over 100 people escape from its clutches, 100 souls allegedly caught in a gilded trap built on exploitation and dominance. These aren't just bold statements, they're explosive. And they paint Wayne not as a passive observer but as someone who has risked everything to challenge a powerful system. This raises the question that now lingers in everyone's mind. If these allegations hold water, who is Diddy really? A once celebrated mogul, lost in his own ambition, or the architect of a calculated empire built on silence and fear? And then there's the legal side. Holding someone with Diddy's wealth and notoriety poses logistical and ethical dilemmas. Traditional incarceration may not be an option. He can't simply be placed among the general prison population. The cost, the danger, the public scrutiny, it's all magnified. Some argue that house arrest or special conditions might be considered, not out of favoritism, but due to the complexities involved. Still, any leniency risks public backlash, especially as the allegations continue to mount. Recent revelations have only made the picture murkier. The resurfacing of Diddy's so-called freak-off, potty slong, a whispered secret in entertainment circles, has taken on new, disturbing meaning. These weren't just wild nights. According to court documents, they were tightly choreographed, manipulative events designed to maintain control. Victims have come forward claiming they were coerced into inescapable situations, some saying they were recorded without consent, footage that may have been used for blackmail. And then there's the strange, almost surreal detail: the baby oil. Reportedly, authorities seized thousands of bottles during recent federal raids. Theories swirl, some dark, some absurd, but comedian Cat Williams took the topic public, cracking jokes that land uncomfortably close to real horror. "You think you're getting a massage," he joked, "but you can't even get up." Behind the humor is something far more unsettling: claims that these substances may have been altered to incapacitate victims, making them even more vulnerable. As all this unfolds, judges face impossible choices. One prior judge denied Diddy bond, keeping him available for trial. A new judge might face intense scrutiny. Any decision could carry public consequences. It's not just about legal process anymore, it's about perception, fear, and pressure. And it's not just Wayne raising the alarm. Cat Williams has also been vocal, not only refusing Diddy's invitations but stating he has proof of why he stayed away. Earlier this year, he predicted that 2024 would be the year that the most protected names in the industry would finally face accountability. Was Diddy among those he meant? If so, how much more does Williams know that the world hasn't heard yet? Federal prosecutors seem to be catching up with the rumors. The charges against Diddy aren't trivial. They include racketeering, trafficking, and conspiracy. These are crimes with lifelong consequences, and the indictment paints a picture of a deeply orchestrated operation. There are also accusations of witness tampering efforts. Prosecutors claim to silence the voices brave enough to speak. Diddy's influence runs deep, so deep that even from behind prison walls, there are claims he's using that power to silence key voices. The trial now unfolding in New York is more than just a courtroom battle, it's a reckoning. One of hip-hop's most iconic figures is facing a public unraveling, and the weight of what's at stake is staggering. Is this the collapse of a cultural titan, or are there layers yet to be uncovered? Even the question of where to hold Diddy during the legal process is tangled in controversy. The idea of relocating him from one facility to another immediately raises concerns of favoritism. Yet, some argue that with his fame, fortune, and past philanthropic work, special accommodations might not be unjustified, though making that argument in court would be a delicate, even dangerous, move. Adding to the chaos is the sudden disappearance of a crucial witness known only as Victim 3. This person was expected to deliver pivotal, deeply personal testimony that could have reshaped the entire case. But now, they're simply gone. No contact, no explanation. Not even the witness's legal team can be reached. The disappearance isn't just unsettling, it's suspicious. Did they go into hiding? Were they pressured into silence? The mystery only deepens the unease surrounding this already harrowing case. If what Lil Wayne and others are saying is even partly true, then Diddy's empire might extend far beyond music, into shadows few dare to explore. How many more survivors remain unheard? How many are still too afraid to speak? What we've heard so far could just be the surface, and if that's the case, what lies beneath could be far darker than anyone imagined. There's a brutal reality to incarceration. Jails are dangerous, and for someone like Diddy, they pose unique risks. He's a high-value target, whether it's jealousy, vendetta, or the desire for notoriety. There are countless inmates who might see him as their ticket to fame. That's why officials are hesitant to put him in general population, but the alternative raises questions about privilege and fairness. Just when it felt like the story couldn't get any more twisted, another rumor emerged, one that could shift everything. Federal agents reportedly discovered a black book during their raid of Diddy's homes. Not just any notebook, this one is whispered to contain names, dates, secrets. A potential who's who of the elite, celebrities, politicians, business moguls, people tied not just to parties, but to a pattern of manipulation and control. What if this ledger isn't only about Diddy? What if it's a key to a broader web of exploitation that's been hiding in plain sight for years? Insiders claim the book may be encrypted, layered in codes, intentionally protected from prying eyes. Investigators are allegedly working around the clock to decode it. If they crack it, The fallout could be historic. Careers destroyed. Legacies shattered. Entire industries disrupted. Meanwhile, the trial trudges forward without victim 3, a vanishing act that has stunned prosecutors. Their testimony wasn't just important, it was expected to be devastating. So what happened? Is this coincidence, fear, or foul play? And if one person can disappear like this, what about the others? Are they next? Is someone working behind the scenes to ensure the truth never sees daylight? As more details leak, an even darker picture begins to form. Remember those thousands of bottles of baby oil confiscated during the raids? There's growing speculation that this wasn't just for show. Sources now claim the oils may have been laced with chemicals, substances that left victims vulnerable, defenseless. And then there's the surveillance. Hidden cameras, everywhere, embedded in everyday objects throughout Diddy's properties. What was recorded, and why? Some believe the footage wasn't just for personal use, but for blackmail, leverage, insurance. Imagine the implications. High-profile guests unknowingly filmed in deeply compromising situations. If true, these recordings could be the foundation of Diddy's alleged empire, not music, not branding, but control through silence. His mother, Janice Combs, has finally spoken out, defending her son through a statement from her lawyer. She says the world is judging him based not on facts, but on a narrative built from lies. But the whispers are louder than ever now. And they're coming from multiple directions: investigators, insiders, entertainers, victims. Sources close to the FBI investigation say entire troves of footage were uncovered: hard drives, tapes, digital files. While the contents remain under lock and key, there's talk that what they contain could prove devastating. Not just gossip, not just scandal, real crimes. And it's not only Diddy whose reputation is hanging in the balance. If these files do what people fear they might, if they show complicity, abuse, or participation, then others in Hollywood, in politics, in business, could find themselves pulled into this abyss. In the end, this isn't just a trial about one man, it's a window into an alleged hidden world, one built on secrets, fear, and control. And now, for the first time, the world is watching. Behind the scenes, chaos is mounting. Sources say a storm is brewing, not in the courtroom, but among Hollywood's elite. More than 120 individuals are rumored to be scrambling behind closed doors, fearing their names may soon be tied to one of the most explosive scandals in entertainment history. And they're not just worried about headlines, they're terrified of what the tapes might reveal. Whispers suggest that secret negotiations are already underway. Celebrities and industry powerhouses allegedly attempting to buy back damning footage before it's either presented in court or leaked to the public. Middlemen are involved. Payments in the millions are rumored. The goal? Make the tapes disappear. Scrub their names from Diddy's alleged blackmail archive before the world finds out. But here's the chilling truth. If the FBI has already secured copies, it may be far too late. No amount of influence, money, or NDA can unring that bell. And it doesn't end with hush money. According to insiders, a wave of NDA renegotiations is sweeping through the entertainment industry. Performers, party guests, former staff, anyone remotely connected to Diddy's now infamous freak-off gatherings are being urged, some say forced, to sign new ironclad contracts. These NDAs are designed to protect more than just Diddy. They serve to shield a powerful network of individuals with everything to lose. Behind bars, Diddy is said to be laser-focused on controlling the narrative. With help from his legal team, PR strategists, and even rumored documentary deals. He's trying to stay one step ahead, not in court, but in the public eye. Still, the most disturbing claims don't involve money or strategy. They center on what's allegedly captured on those tapes. According to leaks from the investigation, these aren't just scandalous party clips. They may reveal criminal acts, incidents of coercion, manipulation, even non-consensual behavior. The recordings, if authentic, could serve as direct evidence of exploitation. They may finally give a voice to the victims who've been too afraid to speak out for years. For those individuals, this isn't about embarrassment, it's about justice. But, will these recordings ever see the light of day? Or, like so many other stories in Hollywood, will they vanish into the shadows? The parallels to Jeffrey Epstein's case are impossible to ignore. Both men allegedly created elaborate systems of control, using status and secrecy to hide dark truths. Epstein weaponized photos and video as blackmail tools to ensure silence. The claims against Diddy echo that same strategy. suggesting that guests were filmed without their knowledge during his events, only to have those recordings used as leverage later. The message was clear: stay quiet, or suffer the consequences. Down. With the FBI reportedly in possession of a trove of hard drives and tapes, the entertainment world is holding its breath. Some names are already distancing themselves, scrubbing photos, unfollowing accounts, issuing vague denials. Others are lawyering up, preparing for the fallout. But for every celebrity trying to escape the blast radius, there are dozens of victims, people still too terrified to come forward. For them, the fear of having their most vulnerable moments used against them is paralyzing. Yet the tide may be turning. If even a fraction of what's been reported is true, these tapes could trigger a reckoning not just for Diddy but for a system that has enabled abuse under the guise of glamour and power for decades. And it's not over. More lawsuits are expected, more names may surface. With Diddy now officially set to stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges, and facing a potential life sentence if convicted, the pressure is intensifying by the day. Prosecutors allege that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines for exploitative purposes, some of it caught on camera. His legal team insists he's innocent. But if those tapes exist, and they back up the claims, his empire could collapse. And he wouldn't go down alone. What makes this even more dangerous is how deep the rabbit hole may go. Politicians, executives, fellow moguls, if any of their faces appear on those recordings, even for a moment, careers could end overnight. Legacies destroyed. Hollywood, once again, is on the edge of a scandal, one with the potential to make Weinstein and Epstein look like the prelude. The real question now: who will break their silence? And will that be enough to tear down the house of cards, or will it be buried once more beneath wealth, fear, and carefully curated lies? One thing is certain: the stakes have never been higher, and the world is watching. The fall of the untouchables. Diddy's empire on the brink when Jeffrey Epstein was arrested in 2019. It wasn't just the end of a man's freedom, it was the unraveling of a network. His little black book, packed with the names of world leaders, celebrities, and billionaires, became a symbol of how deep the rot went. Now, 5 years later, insiders say the entertainment industry could be facing its own Epstein moment, and the spotlight has turned to Sean Diddy Combs. Much like Epstein, Diddy was long considered untouchable, a mogul whose fame, wealth, and connections shielded him from consequence. But that illusion is beginning to crack, and if the allegations are true, what's hiding inside Diddy's so-called Black Book of Secrets could shake the very foundation of the industry. The parallels between the two men are eerie. Both built empires on charisma, influence, and access to the world's most exclusive circles. Both were rumored for years to be hiding something darker behind their glamorous facades. And both, allegedly, relied on a network of enablers, people who saw the red flags but looked away. Epstein had recruiters, staff, and elite associates who helped facilitate his abuse, or stayed silent to protect their own interests. Diddy's alleged world, according to emerging reports, operated in much the same way. Assistants, employees, performers, even high-level executives who may have witnessed exploitation, manipulation, and coercion, but kept quiet. Fear, money, and loyalty did the rest. And just like with Epstein, the question now isn't just what Diddy did, it's who helped him. The ripple effects are already being felt. Prosecutors have confirmed Diddy will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges. He's accused of using his entertainment empire to transport individuals across state lines for exploitative purposes, some of it reportedly recorded on hidden cameras. If convicted, he could face life in prison. For now, he's being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, but there are rumors he wants to be moved to a more comfortable jail in New Jersey. That move is unlikely. Federal marshals rarely grant such requests, especially not for inmates in high-stakes, high-profile cases. The trial, insiders say, could take years to fully litigate, and while Diddy fights from behind bars, the victims, just like Epstein's, are still navigating a system that wasn't built for them. They're up against a legacy of silence, intimidation, and legal maneuvering meant to bury their stories. But this time, there's a difference. The world is watching. In the digital age, secrets are harder to keep. Whispers once confined to industry backrooms now explode across timelines. Survivors once ignored now have platforms of their own. And unlike in 2008, when Epstein's first case ended in a sweetheart deal, the public isn't as quick to look away. Still, the danger of history repeating itself looms large. Even after Epstein was arrested, many of his secrets died with him. The victims were left with a partial justice, some accountability, but not the full truth. The same fate could await Diddy's case if missing evidence, tampered witnesses, or powerful friends behind the curtain succeed in shielding the full scope of what really happened. Prosecutors have already hinted that unnamed co-conspirators in Diddy's indictment could be facing charges of their own. They may hold the key to the case and may already be under pressure to flip and testify. But whether they'll cooperate or cling to the protection of power remains to be seen. As for Diddy, even his 55th birthday passed in silence. No star-studded parties. No rooftop bashes. Just another day in custody. A stark contrast to the empire he once ruled. But this story was never just about one man. It's about the system that let it happen. The culture of complicity that prioritized careers over truth. The fear that kept victims silent. The elite circles that protected each other even if it meant sacrificing the vulnerable. And now, the question isn't only, will Diddy fall? It's, how many others will fall with him? If there's anything Epstein's case taught us, it's this: the higher you rise, the harder you fall. And for those who believed they were above the law, this may be the moment they find out just how far the truth can reach. Diddy behind bars. The empire cracks this year. Diddy turned 55. But unlike past years, marked by extravagant yacht parties, VIP guest lists, and red carpet entrances, this birthday was different. It was his first behind bars. Adding to the firestorm is the resurfaced testimony of Cassie Ventura, Diddy's former partner. Her allegations aren't just shocking, they're haunting. She describes years of emotional and physical abuse, including so-called freak-offs, where she claims coercion, surveillance, and even blackmail were part of a disturbing pattern of control. According to Cassie, Diddy allegedly used explicit tapes as a form of psychological captivity that blurred the line between private intimacy and power-driven manipulation. Cassie's bravery in speaking out has become a lightning rod. It's inspired others to come forward, but it's also pulled back the curtain on the toxic reality. Will this be the moment the entertainment industry finally cleans house? Or will the same shadowy machinery that enabled silence for decades once again bury the truth? Whatever happens next, one thing is certain: this story is far from over. Like, comment, and let us know what you think. Do you believe this is just the tip of the iceberg? Is the industry finally about to face its demons? Stay tuned, because the end of Diddy's empire might be closer than any of us ever imagined. Until next time, keep your eyes open, and never stop asking questions. Asterisk.